Hi, it's JD with a very short Deep Questions Dark Chocolate video to just announce something, and that is this summer I've been working on a book, and I've kind of completed it now. It's just about as I'm go back to work, my academic calendar, and it's a short book, 13,000 words. It's $1.99 on Amazon. I just uploaded it to Amazon today, and it's called "But What He Seeth the Father Do: Spiritually Healing 5 Bullshit Threats to Humanity's Existence." Sorry, using a swear word along with a Bible verse in the title. But if you go to Barnes & Noble these days, you see a lot of books on the shelves using swear words. I guess because those words are just catchy and they get attention, and this is something I kind of want to draw attention to. And I try to do this without sounding like a slimy salesman, but or some YouTube promoter, but just trying to draw attention to what we can do with these 5 threats. So it's climate change, AI, the possibility of nuclear war in Ukraine, China's possible invasion of Taiwan, and the political election violence many are forecasting in America right now, with the election about 14 months away. So there's a couple different ways to look at this. I'm a big fan of what I'm learning from many of my friends and acquaintances these days about a mindfulness approach of just accepting everything as it is, and knowing that everything is working out as it should. That's a totally legitimate approach, which I like. There's the other approach that kind of speaks to me a little more, and I guess just because one day I had this epiphany while reading a quote from Niels Bohr, a Danish quantum physicist who won a Nobel Prize 100 years ago. And he said, "We are not measuring the world with our thoughts, we are creating it," literally creating it. And if that's true, and again, this is the most battle-tested theory in all of quantum physics, all of science, that has no detractors. There's no disagreement on it. The scientists all agree that this is what's happening, that we create the world with our thoughts. And it goes back to the Buddhists 5,000 years before Christ saying, "With our thoughts, we make the world." And so I think there's a lot of reason to really believe that that's a powerful thing. And if that is a powerful thing, to me, it says, I know I have a responsibility to do my best to think the kind of thoughts that can bring healing to these things. My daughter took me to the movie Oppenheimer last Monday, and it's a 3-hour epic, and very well acted, very well done, but a very grim ending, and some powerful visuals that are just grim, and very grim forecast for what Oppenheimer believed would eventually play out with the discovery of the atomic bomb. And so it just feels like we need to be all hands on deck. As people rose to the occasion in World War II, everybody was planting victory gardens at home in the factories, men on the fronts. I went to Pointe du Hoc where D-Day happened in northern France. And it's blew me away, because you walk in and you see these German bunkers, concrete bunkers, 200 feet above the ocean, up on a bluff, and they're dug in there with their guns, looking out through these little slits in the concrete to shoot at whoever's coming. And so it looks like they have an unbelievable advantage in that. And yet there were 200 U.S. Army Rangers. They scaled this cliff. 120 of them were killed, but 80 of them came up that cliff and overtook the Germans. So I was blown away by the courage that must have been there with those guys. And it made me wonder, would I muster that kind of courage to overcome an evil that was taking the world? And so it makes me feel like maybe that's what we're being called on to do right now. So in the book, I go through a whole lot of different quantum physicists and how they articulate this, and they articulate it beautifully. It just makes me feel like there's something practical you and I can do at this pivotal inflection point in history. And I guess what inspired me to write it was, there's a brilliant futurist named Tony Seba. He has a think tank called RethinkX, and he does this great video on YouTube called Rethinking Humanity, if you want to Google it on YouTube. And he has this line, and he says, we're at this incredible inflection point right now where we're either headed toward breakthrough or collapse. And Tony has been incredible in predicting the future with solar energy, with electric cars. 10, 15 years ago, he was predicting exactly where we would be today with those two issues, and many other situations. So he kind of sees trends and sees what's happening. So anyway, The book is on Amazon. It's $1.99, not much. And if you want to give it a review, that's super helpful in terms of getting it out there. But it might, yeah, again, these thinkers are incredible. So it might give you something to think about. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.